Greetings to one and all. Let's see if that's working. It is. How's it all going? Welcome. Welcome to another episode of Countermeasures. I'm in the drawing room again. I'm still listening to myself on here. Yeah, so as usual, successful start. I didn't get an opportunity to do anything last week. My diary was just insane. There's absolutely insane amount of work going on, and loads of other things going on. Family and all good, but just time consuming. And I'm trying to hit that Wednesday live stream every Wednesday night, and it's fine for the first few weeks. Last week was a speed bump. Tonight I've got another commitment that I can't shift, so yeah, at least I'm hitting it on a Wednesday. So before I actually start doing what I'm doing, I'm going to go through the haul of last week's comics super quick. And then this week's, and then we'll make a start. So last week I picked up G.I. Joe issue 12, of course. I love a bit of G.I. Joe. Hello Darkness 15. Battle Beast 6. There's a Punisher number 2 in appropriate audiences. It's the Red Band one. And also I picked up the Red Band Wolverine Revenge. This one, I do already have this in full colour. But this is the Greg Capullo ink only version where it's all just his, it's all black and white, which is my jam. Zombie Love Halloween, few Halloween based things. Monster and the Wolf from Keen Spot, which came in one of these blind bags, which is a growing trend and another way to get people just to basically sell more comics to the same person again and again, i.e. me and my ilk. So what else have we got? Focusing, come on, let's go. 2000 AD, obviously, that's last week. Also have Judge Dredd the magazine, or Judge Dredd the zine, which is a particularly good one. And then actually, I'm not sure if I did that one before, but there was also the 35th. This is the one. No, that was the week before. And actually, that other one was the week before. This was last week's New Romance. I haven't read this one yet. And yeah, it was this one. It was the 35th anniversary issue. This came out last week. And I have to admit that I felt really old buying this, and I've mentioned it before. I do have issue 1 somewhere. Of that, so it was 35 years ago, which is insane. And then today I picked up 2000 AD Crawl of the Wild, so that is Prog 2455. Also makes me feel old. And I did this was from UK retailers. This is Quantum. Which issue are we on? This is from Time Bomb. We're on issue 12. This is very similar to the anthology that I've just put together with some other friends of mine, and this is along the same sort of lines. And it's good to see this in the local newsagents. It's incredibly difficult to get your work into these places because, to be honest with you, there's not a huge market for people buying these. Directly from it's not WH Smith or it's TJ Miller or whatever, but those traditional places that you would buy them from, they just don't really stock these so much anymore. And when they do, I do see them on the shelves for ages. I don't know if people pick them up from there. If you want to buy a comic, do you just go to a sort of more specialist comic shop now, or do you just buy them online? I'd like to think the answer is no, but I think the truth is that the answer is actually yes. But I'm glad that they're still going. I wonder if they're making any money. This one I think skipped a month because they were monthly. I wonder if this has now gone. It doesn't say when it's coming out. Yeah. Distribution. Yeah, TG Jones, it says. So it says here, as a result, I'll read you this. I've talked before, publishing Quantum comes with its own set of challenges. With printing and distribution. One of the key things behind the creation of Quantum was to be able to create a comic available primarily in news agencies across the UK. I'm sure over the last few months you've noticed the company behind the biggest news agents, WH, has sold its high street shops to concentrate on its presence in railway stations and airports. So as a result, the high street, WH Smiths is now the high street TG Jones. There you go. So what does that mean for Quantum? Basically, I'm guessing, it says nobody knows here, I'm guessing that they're renegotiating what their deals are in terms of distribution. And I think if you're coming in and taking over something, maybe best not to get rid of everything before you've really had the opportunity to see what's selling and what isn't. Personally, I would keep Quantum as long as you possibly can, and I can see that like Shift is also, surviving in the news agents, which I think's promising. Again, I just wonder how long that's going to last for. I like the idea that there's this kind of audience there, but the truth is like in the 80s, 90s probably. But now, I mean, people can access these things from so many different places now that they couldn't before. And, you know, the idea of going to a newsagent and buying a comic is more, it almost feels like a nostalgia trip for me every week, rather than just, you know, I don't know if any new people would do that. I mean, I don't know. I have to wait and see. I mean, Quantum are still going. They're on issue 12, so good for them, and I hope it continues. This week, news from the Fallout. Of course, it's at number 5. No Man's Land, Invisible Man issue 3. This is drawn by Danny. Absolutely cracking series. Terminator Metal. That's issue 1. Dynamite have been knocking it out of the park with their Terminator series. Everyone's just like a little, you know, it's perfect for me because I like these kind of all-encompassing single stories, or maybe 2 or 3 issues overlap, but primarily they're short, they're sweet, and they're perfect for me. Skinbreaker issue 2, I haven't read the first one yet. It does look good. David Finch is obviously a bit of a master. He's been doing this particular series for a long time. Written by Robert Kirkman, obviously Walking Dead and Invincible, etc. So I haven't read the first one yet. I'm looking forward to reading both of those. Wonder Woman 13, I can't stop reading these. I don't know what's happened to me, but I've become a Wonder Woman fan, which I never thought would happen, but it is very good. Escape issue 3. Again, I've got the other 2 issues. I haven't actually read them yet. And then there's a Halloween special from Hello Halloween, which should have been Halloween, really. Why did they do Halloween? Anyway, that's Hello Darkness spin-off, so I'm looking forward to reading that as well. But all of these are very good, of course. But the absolute banger this week, much like 2 weeks ago, or even 3 weeks ago, the Batman Absolute Black and White series. I'm not going to get all of this on. In fact, I could if I turned it that way. Is the American Vampire, Scott Snyder, Raphael Albuquerque, and Stephen King. Now, when these originally came out years ago, I loved and absolutely demolished every single one of them. Not going to get all of this on, but you're going to get a flavour. And then they keep printing these, assuming actual size, sort of artist editions. I mean, this is just, it's just so pretty. I love black. And again, my only criticism, and this is just from a artist point of view, is that I want to see the art in its rawest form, you know, like all this stuff, these paintings and things like that. It looks amazing. When you do see it like that, it is brilliant, but they've left all of the text on and they've just like knocked it back by like 80%. And I just think, like, if you're doing a big artist edition like this, just, you know, I know they're going to, it means that they're not selling it to people who haven't read the books before. I don't care about those people. I only really want to see the art of this. So when I see all the text and everything overlaying these really cool drawings, and they've knocked them back like to 80% so you can just see a bit of it through it, I just think get rid of them altogether. That's what I would say. It's a 9 out of 10. It would be a 10 if those weren't in it. But they are great. I mean, you can really see all the pen and ink drawings here, then pencil work, and I mean, there's all sorts of stuff going on here. Is that like charcoal? I don't think many of this is digital. This is all pen and ink. And then it's obviously reduced down to a certain size. I mean, this is just amazing. Looks really, really good. It shows what you can do when you spend a little bit of time making something, you know, really structured. You can see all of this stuff in here. Just all of this detail work is just really, really great. Yeah, very good. And then some character work. I mean, they're just worth it. It's worth it just for this, you know. See this sort of pencil stuff. This is so inspiring to me. This is what I'm interested in. I'm interested in this kind of thing. I like the rawness of it all and how simple these things are. I mean, yes, it does translate into some amazing drawings here, which are, you know, ultimately very commercial in their kind of in how they're finished. I'd read comics that were just purely like this, that were just raw and ready, that give you something else. You know, there's something primal about that I really like. You know, like this guy here, you can quite see this chap. How am I going to angle that? But this guy, you know, just there's an energy about this drawing that I really like, and it's something that I try and get into my own drawings. So, you know, and then I do like these, the finished kind of accomplished versions, very good. But I'll take this style any day. You know, that's something that I'm working on at the moment, which is very much along those sort of lines. So this appeals to me, and I love all this kind of blown out over cover. Yeah, big formats, very, very nice. Now, what else am I peddling? Let's see. Aside from what I've been buying, here's some other stuff. So Pugs in Space, obviously issue 1, 2, 3 and 4 are now complete. They are up for pre-orders on jackrabbitcomics.com. If you're coming to Thought Bubble, we're going to have a whole load of the first early print run. They're not meant to be coming out till next year, but we do have 4 of them already put together. It is a reprint of the issues that we've done over the last several years, but there's a whole load of changes to them. We made loads of tweaks to the artwork, and well, I went through and redid all the type and all that kind of stuff. So they're really the definitive versions. And then we're working on the 5th one next, which will be coming. I think that comes out in June next year. So it basically tails off. Pugs. Anyway, they tails off the end of episodes 1 to 4. So that will be something that's coming out next year, which I'm looking forward to. There is a Danger Mouse book around here somewhere. Is it on my shelf? No. So obviously Danger Mouse, we're always peddling. Actually, let me get one. Yeah, let's try that again. So yeah, so Danger Mouse book, obviously this is something that I worked on several years ago. It's the 40th anniversary of the world's greatest detective, not arguably, fact. And it's got a whole load of things in there. We did a whole load of, I always love these books over the summer where you got like all the jokes and then you had all like the puzzles and things like that. So we had an absolute blast writing, designing and illustrating that. And I even managed to get an advert for the Princess Trust in the back there as well, which is something one of my clients that I work with. So that was a very good one. Skipper Whiskers, this is something that's coming out, it says December. I think I'm going to have a whole load of these for this is a sample copy, it's got a crease in it. I'm going to have a whole load of these at Thought Bubble as well, so I'm going to have an absolute haul of stuff, so you should come and take a look if you get the opportunity. I would really appreciate it. And obviously myself I'll be there, and Tim Southwell, my partner in crime for Pugs, his claim to fame is that he co-created the Loaded magazine back in the day, so he will be there signing stuff and I'll be there signing stuff. And essentially what I'm really going to be doing is talking a lot about this book, which is something that I've recently put together with a whole load of other creatives. If you've seen any of the other work that I've been doing on previous weeks of this particular not a podcast, like the YouTube episode, you'll know that I've been working diligently away on this particular brand, which is an anthology of short stories. There are 9 stories in here. This is the first copy ever to exist of Beyond the Black Void. It has 9 stories in it. We have I think there's 16 creatives in total. It exists. This is actually the proof copy, which I only got this morning, funnily enough, and I can't tell you how chuffed I am with how good it's come out. Firstly, a huge congratulations to all of the people that put so much time into making this book feel as good as it is. I mean, I can't believe the level of quality of some of this stuff. I can't believe the level of, like, the storytelling, the art, and these are all people that have had some success in creating comics, you know, from writing and drawing, and some people that have never done it before, and some people that you know, weren't sure if they could do it, if they, you know, and some people that are super professional that have been doing like lettering for all sorts of comic books for years, and you know, and we sort of came together and came up with this like whole concepts and stories for things, and people submitted concepts and ideas and sketches, and the level of work, I mean, considering it's a group of people that you know, we're all knocking on the door of potentially getting more people interested in what we're doing, but it's a whole group of people that have just really poured their heart and soul into making this you know, better than well, way better than I ever expected. That's going to sound terrible, but what I mean by that is that, like, I knew all these people were capable of doing good work. I'd seen examples of stuff they've done before. I knew that, like, I knew that I was prepared to put some time into it to actually make it, you know, as strong as I can make it, you know, and I'm learning as well, so I'm constantly questioning myself about the things that I'm doing, and I'm constantly trying to push the envelope. And I really felt that, like, we got to a point with this book where I don't know, it just felt it feels like the best thing I've done to date. Like, genuinely feels like the best thing I've done today. I mean, I've done drawings and things and whatever for years and years, and I've been doing stuff, but like in terms of a collective of work, I got to work with you know, a really good writer on one of these stories. I got to write 2 of the stories myself. One of them's a bit of a sort of throwaway joke story. One of them's sort of like you know, a very long story in only a few pages, and I wanted to kind of experiment with that to see if I could, how much I could pack into like sort of 6 pages without actually you know, without actually kind of making it feel too overweight. And so there's some sort of experimentation going on in this book that I've not done before, and I took a little bit of a risk with those, and I'm really pleased with how that turned out. And then you've got like people that just, I don't know, they're just lapping up, like they're getting these briefs, you know, I say briefs, like the artists are getting these sort of very well crafted stories, and they're just turning out, you know, like some absolutely quality work. I mean, it just looks brilliant. I'm so pleased, and every story feels different, and it all feels along the lines of exactly what we originally wanted it to be in the start. Then we end up with this book that, you know, this thing will live forever. I mean, at some point I've got to send off a load of copies to the British Library, because that's just what you do when you've registered trademarks and when you've registered barcodes and all that kind of stuff. So there'll be 5 copies in the British Library for, like, you know, the end of time, I guess, is where they'll go. I'm sure there's a vault somewhere where they just pulp them all, but in my mind they're going on a pristine old wooden shelf in a very wise old dusty library, along with, you know, a load of other stuff that will probably all get recycled at some point. But yeah, so that's something that I'm really, really pleased about. There's a few errors, because what would a job be if there weren't any errors? And that's why this is the proof. There's a few things missing. There's a few bits that I need to tweak, just in terms of things, you know, getting a proof's good. You know, obviously you're working on these layouts, right? So then when you have to account for the fact that there's a spine on these things, and that's fine because obviously that is something that everyone's aware of as they're working. But then when you get the actual physical printed thing in your copy, a copy in your hands, you see that like there is also some tolerances that you need to just tweak. And this comes from my design background, which is when I'm designing books and any kind of any literature, any reports or anything like that. If I can get a fully printed version of it, whatever state that's in, it gives me a better idea of what the binding is like, of what the paper quality is like, what the weights are like. And with this particular one, the tolerance of the spine is something that I taken, like I said, we've taken into account, but it just needs a little bit more finessing. So, for example, the spine does overlay probably about 3 or 4 mil more than I thought it was going to. That's fine for this. I'd accounted for that. We've still almost got like a full circle here, so that's fine. But where I haven't really accounted for are these guys here. This one's probably not too bad. This one all of these names just need to shift over by about 2 millimeters, just to move it away from the center a little bit. And then as I go through, I mean, I may do something here. Probably this whole section here just needs to shift slightly that way. This whole page just needs to shift slightly that way. So I'll go through and just tweak all of those things on the final artwork. But as far as color goes, as far as spelling goes, I mean, we've knocked it out of the park, really, if I'm completely honest, because usually at this point I'm going through and I'm like typo. But the other guys that were doing all their stories were so thorough with their I'm blowing smoke now, but were so thorough with their the time that they spent making everything right, that typos don't seem to be a problem. But yeah, so really pleased with this. We're going to have a load of these for Thought Bubble. We're going to be handing some free ones out at some point. We're going to be they're going to be up on Jackrabbit Comics. Waterstones amazingly have agreed to stock this. It's currently in their online library, so you can go and buy this. I think it's pre-order at the moment. I think they've got the 15th of November as the launch date, which is the weekend of Thought Bubble. So when we're at Thought Bubble peddling our tat, we will also be promoting this through Waterstones, and there's like an article coming out about it. There's I want to call it Beyond Frontier, but I've completely got that wrong. So I'm sort of playing catch up with myself a little bit on all of these things, having been so busy in the last few weeks. Yeah, here we go. It's the guys at Broken Frontier. There you go. I should have known that. But we did an interview with them, so there's an interview being published. They're doing a book review. I've sent them a PDF of everything, so they've got that. And at some point I was going to see if they actually wanted a physical copy as well. So yeah, I just feel like this could be something. I'm very, very proud of it, and I hope that when you get the opportunity to read it, that you feel the same way. We spent a lot of time making this something a little bit more than just run-of-the-mill. There's something about this that feels like we pushed ourselves to achieve this, rather than it was just something that we just kind of like, it's another job we just turned around. There's some thinking going on in here that you wouldn't necessarily expect from an anthology, which I think is I mean, that just tells you everything you need to know about the creatives involved with it. Very good, very exciting. All very exciting, as they say. Now, I wonder if my voice is loud enough over the music. Who knows? So this actually comes a long-winded way. I was trying to work out what I might do today, because obviously I wanted to talk about our books. I wanted to talk about stuff that I have been reading and that I'm about to read, and then I just kind of thought I didn't want to do anything too long-winded. A lot of the things that I do I don't tend to finish, because I tend to be working on something that's like a much longer project, so I'm just doing bits. Like the other week I did something for that book, for the Beyond the Black Boy book. It was like tidying up and tweaking illustrations and things like that. That's interesting to a certain degree, but then after about 10 minutes it's like, what am I watching here exactly? A guy put highlights on light on like somebody's space helmet is like not the most exciting. So what I thought to do today, because I have an absolute stack of comic books that have the sketch covers, I thought I might actually try and do a sketch cover. Now, I've done some of these in the past for various people when they've specifically asked me, can you do this, can you do that, etc., etc. And I've drawn Wolverine jumping out of this and Spider-Man doing that and whatever, so I have done those in the past, but I've never done a Transformers one, and I just kind of thought I might use it as an exercise, because I'm kind of thinking with the Thought Bubble thing coming up in not very many weeks, in like 3 weeks time, that I might actually want to do some live drawing on location. I'm not sure if I'm going to get a chance to do it. There's so much going on. We're doing a panel and everything. It's going to be like completely mental, and the whole thing's only on for 2 days, which basically means that by the time we've got there and spoken to 4 people, it'll be over. So like I'm very conscious that actually this would be a luxury if I could get to it. I don't know if I will get to it, but what I thought I would do is do a little bit of practicing also, I haven't drawn any Transformers for ages, and I thought maybe it might be time. Now, there are only 2 Transformers that exist, for anybody that is wondering. There are many different types of Transformers in the world. There are many different stories. I've read them all. As I always bang on, Simon Furman is, I'm going to go as far to say as he's become an acquaintance of mine. I don't think we're friends, but he's become somebody who I recognise and he recognises me, and we talk about comics, and that's about as far as it gets. I suspect he doesn't feel the same way, but that's the way I feel, so that's all that really matters, is that I live in my delusion. So having read all of his books, all of his run on Transformers with him and Jeff Senior, which are just like the most inspiring. I mean, Jeff's just like, he's up there with Frank Miller and Bill Sienkiewicz for me. I mean, like, I'm so inspired by how Jeff draws and how he illustrates movement and action and energy within his drawings from something that's should be relatively static, and yet he somehow gets this kind of movement in there that, with simple line work, which is just, I still don't know how he does it. He's a magician. But yeah, I read all of that run, absolutely brilliant, and I would thoroughly recommend doing so. But like I said, there are only 2 Transformers. There's Optimus Prime, who is obviously the leader of the Autobots. He is the best Transformer, I would say. I like his design. I've got various versions of him around. In fact, over my shoulder, there's 2 on the shelf here somewhere. Up here, or you'll see them. Yeah, there's sort of always looking over. And the second Transformer, of course, is Soundwave. So Soundwave, when I was growing up, was the elusive Transformer. He was the toy that I wanted so badly in the 80s. We could never get him. He was generation 1 of those toys. I was at the age where the Transformers came out, and I was just a little bit too young. And by the time I got into them, all of the toys were onto the next wave. So it was before the time where they would bring out the toys and then they would say, like, this is here's the range, here's a load of new Transformers, and reissue the first lot of the generation 1. I was well past that. So, and the same, so like, I never had an Optimus Prime until I was about 9, and even then it was a second-hand one. He'd lost all his things, and he didn't have a trailer and all that stuff. So like, and that was heartbreaking to me. But I had all of the ones that were mainly focused around the movie. So things like Ultra Magnus, characters like Wreck-Gar, and all of those guys. That was my period of time where I was growing up. I was getting the toys. Those particular characters around that time were all the toys were basically being sold on the shelves of those. And all the ones that I loved, like Soundwave, like Brawn, and of course Bumblebee, which you could never get the original Bumblebee. There was such a short run of those toys, but where you could get them was in the comics. So every week I would diligently pick up my 32 pence Transformers Marvel UK comic, which was predominantly drawn by Jeff, written by Simon, and they had the most sprawling, amazing stories, turning these characters into real life, like an emotional soap opera. That's what I'm going to say. And then obviously I followed that for years and years and got really into it, and things develop and you get older and have kids and get a job and move on, or not. But then years later, obviously Daniel Warren Johnson brings out all this stuff, and it's like a kind of reboot of all the best parts of the story, really well drawn by a whole variety of different artists. Now Robert Kirkman's doing a run. I mean, just really, really great stuff, and it's got me well back into it. And this is the Robert Kirkman one, actually. I mean, the art in it's just, Dan Mora and Jorg Corona. I'm sure I'm saying those wrong. Now I'm assuming that this is Jorg. I don't know enough about their styles to pull them out, but I do know that Dan has done work on it previously, which looks very similar to this. Anyway, a long story short, there is only two Transformers in the world. So what I do have here is I do have my little Soundwave figure. This is the Masterpiece edition, I think came out a few years ago. See, I made up for it as a grown man. I couldn't have the toys I wanted as a child. Isn't that the story of everyone? So when I got older, I just decided, well, now's the time to invest in something I'll never play with. So he's on my shelf, usually just kind of like pointing at his little thing, and I don't think he makes any noises. Anyway, but I just thought I'd pull this guy out because I'm going to use him for reference. Because as much as I do love Soundwave, I couldn't draw him straight from memory. Now the question is, he probably wants to be something like that. I want to do a shot of him from a ground level, so maybe his foot will be up. Maybe we'll do something like that. Who's seen the bottom of Soundwave's foot before? Maybe we'll do something like that, or maybe we'll do like a big hand reaching forward, something like that. And then I think maybe some people here, and then we'll have a little look at that. Anyway, I'm going to attempt to, in my own way, do a stylish drawing for this. And I've got about half an hour, so I better hurry up. Okay, I'm going to crank some music up. Let's get on. Crotch of sound wave. Okay, how's it looking? Okay. Bending his leg back, I think. Just back there. Now, I'm going to have two people here. Let's get that body shape. This guy's going to be protecting his daughter, I think. That's what I think he's going to be doing. She's going to be there. Pigtails! Yeah, why not? Alright. Let's see. Let's check these. Yeah, I think we're going to just make that bit up ourselves. Now, I must remember. Angles. Don't get too free willy with the brush. He also wants this. Something like that. Yeah, okay. Yep, okay. Let's pick your poison. Right, now I have a great brush here. Had to refill the ink. Okay. I am working quickly. Okay, let's get in there. So that's that third finger curling round. We're going to put this little one underneath. We're going to put him up here, look. Just curling around like that. Okay, something like that. Shy of the black. Nobody wants to see a robot's crotch. Here it is. Okay. Again, it's just rectangles. Okay. Now, faces. Let's see. Because he looked like he had a helmet on. Should go over. There we go. He's got that cool V. Hey, there he is. Yeah, alright. How's it looking so far? Yeah, alright. Let's fill this guy in. So I think what we're going to do is switch to my marker. I want him to be fully blacked out. That's not good. I bought a whole load of black markers. I can't find any. This pan is a Fudenosuke. It's fiber tip that you can bend while you're drawing, so you can do like skinny lines, thick. Looks a bit odd. I think we'll work into that. Once it gets to this stage, it's just a matter of detail. he's getting there. He's definitely getting there. This guy needs a bit of work. Is she going to be holding her teddy? Yeah, of course she is. And the teddy's going to be looking really alarmed. Okay, next level. Now what I want is... oh, what have I got here? Okay, I've got a 0.8. Yep. On this figure, he doesn't have his Decepticon badge. I think it's normally here. We'll do that last time. Okay, what I want... where are you? Trusty old whites out. Yeah, this number's a bit mad. Let's just sort that out. Still mad. Still mad. Okay, but what I want to do is this. Yeah, there we go. Tipex, actually, Pentel Mica correct. Very good, I've gone through them all. That is the best one to date. Okay. Now, that was an 8. What size have we got here? What I want is a 0.5. Here we go. That's not it. 0.1. Is that too tiny? Maybe. And we're going to do something in a minute, which is going to be a gamble. So watch me wreck this. better. Right, hair next. There you go. That's a bit of fun. Is it? Come back, Whiteout. All is forgiven. In fact, let's just take that whole thing out. Okay, now, pencils in, pencils out. Here's the gamble. This is the parallel pen. It puts down a lot of ink, and the ink that I have in this parallel pen is particularly cheap and nasty. So it doesn't dry very quick. It doesn't embed into the paper as quick. It's not very permanent, which means when I want to come in with this, here we go. Only sparkling water, of course. Tricks of the trade. I'd like to say that the carbon in the water has a particular effect on the way that the inks take on the paper. But the truth is, I'm just too lazy to go to the tap. Let's go. Yeah, okay. Looking nice. There we go. There we go. Let's go. Right. These covers do suck the ink up, actually. A bit slower with that. How's my boy doing? Yep, here we go. Let's get a bit of chaos and not like everything being so smooth and tidy. It's okay to go over the lines. In fact, it's mandatory in my office. There you go. All right. Yeah, he's looking pretty good. But wait, there's something missing. I just sniffed the marker there. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take this nice big fat brush. I'm gonna shake this ink pot. Get this over there. Oh yeah, okay, here we go. Let's do a little test on that. Yeah, okay. Sure there's plenty in that. Let's give him a little bit. Okay. Doesn't need much. This cover is soaking this right up. Just give him a bit more structure. His hands are blue as well, so this is blue. Nice. Alright. How's that going to take on this? That's predicted. Close enough. Okay, and a bit on his head. Don't want to flood it. Okay. Yeah. What I want this to do is I want it to run out. I think it's going to. Yeah. How's that? Maybe. Let's see. Dark is that? Yeah. Alright, that's my sketch cover. I want to colour this dude. Oh, this is what I want. This. He would be fine. Got a brand new set of watercolours here. Blue water. I think he would be this colour. Here he is. Okay. Now, let's run this drive. Okay, there's one thing left to do. Where are you? It's not going to do it this time. This is what I want. What I am going to do is this. That says tights, cake and costumes. I'll tell you what I'm up to this weekend. Alright. Let's see if this will do. Just stay there. Nothing in this chap's empty. Okay, come on, let's wrap, let's wrap. Taking longer than I thought. Mainly me just looking through my... Here we go, Daddy's in town. Usually what I do is spray all over my computer. That's what I'm going to do here. All right. That's it. Can't go for 10 minutes without having black hands. So, there you go. There it is. Alright. Not bad for a quick and dirty. Personally, if you say so myself. So thanks very much for watching. Until next time, be good. Stay safe and be kind to one another. Peace out. We gone. Ow, ow.